It was a Thursday evening, and the bustling city streets of Greystone had a special sort of energy, one that hummed just below the surface, almost like a secret waiting to be discovered. Neon lights flickered above storefronts, casting a kaleidoscope of color across the pavement. In the midst of it all was Isabella, a young woman in her early 30s, a name now just as forgotten as the vibrant city that used to be its pride. Welcome to Exceedingly Fruitful, where you'll hear the most captivating and relatable stories that will change your perspective on life. If you want more content like this, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to show your support. Thank you. Isabella had long ago accepted that the world was changing faster than she could keep up with. Once an ambitious architect with dreams of building iconic landmarks, she had now found herself working for a small startup, designing digital interfaces for an app that no one had ever heard of. She sat at her cluttered desk, overlooking the glass windows of her apartment, staring out into the chaos of Greystone. Yet, her mind wasn't with the city. It wasn't with the glowing screens or the endless deadlines. She was somewhere else entirely. A place that didn't exist yet but was as real to her as the world she lived in. The idea had come to her in a dream one night, a vision of the future that she couldn't escape. The world, as she saw it, was going to be entirely different in just a few short years. There would be no more physical offices, no long commutes, no traffic jams. The cities would become quiet, nearly empty places. But it wasn't all bad. In this vision, people had learned how to live differently. They connected, not through technology, but through shared experiences and real emotions. A soft chime from her phone pulled her from her reverie. It was an email from her old mentor, Daniel Larson. "Isabella," it read, "I need to see you. We need to talk about the project. It's happening. Meet me at the old bridge tomorrow night at 10. Her heart skipped a beat. Daniel. He had been the one to push her into the world of architecture all those years ago. But more than that, he had once been a close friend. A friend who had vanished without a word, just when things had begun to change. Isabella stood up from her desk, her pulse quickening. She hadn't heard from Daniel in years, and now, here he was asking to meet in the dead of night. There was something mysterious about the invitation, something that tugged at her in a way she couldn't quite explain. She had to go. The next evening, under the cover of darkness, Isabella stood on the same old bridge that she and Daniel used to walk across when they were younger. The bridge creaked in the wind, its age visible in every rusted bolt and cracked stone. And then she saw him, Daniel, standing just beyond the shadows. "You came," he said softly, his voice tinged with an emotion she couldn't quite place. "Of course I came. But why this? Why now?" Isabella asked, walking towards him. Daniel took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long while, he seemed like the mentor she once knew, the man who had answers for everything. "It's time, Isabella. Time to build the future we saw, but it's going to take more than just one person. I need you. You were always the best of us." Isabella felt the weight of his words settle in her chest. What was he talking about? The future? Build? The vision she had seen in her dream? It was beginning to make sense, but how could they possibly create it? This city, this world is on the edge of something, Daniel continued, his eyes darkening with an intensity she hadn't seen in years. But it needs a spark, and that spark is you. We can change the way people live, Isabella. We can give them back their humanity. As the conversation continued, Isabella's mind raced. She had always believed in the future. She had built her career on it after all. But could this really be the answer? Was she ready to be part of something that might change the course of humanity? Daniel looked at her intently, waiting for her response. You've seen it, haven't you? The future I've been talking about. The one where technology no longer rules us. Where we rule technology. She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. I've seen it. I don't know how, but I've seen it. That's because it's already happening, he said, his voice unwavering. But it's not going to happen on its own. We need to act now, before it's too late. The meeting with Daniel had awakened something deep within Isabella. Something that reminded her that the future wasn't a destination, but a journey. One that could be shaped by those brave enough to take the first step. As Isabella walked away from the bridge, her thoughts were a swirl of excitement and uncertainty. But one thing was clear. The path ahead would require more than just skills. It would require vision. So what would you do in Isabella's shoes? Would you follow the call to change the future, or would you choose the safer, more predictable route? How do you balance ambition with the responsibility of shaping something larger than yourself?